You know who else has got a goal? The Dallas Cowboys have a goal of getting past the second round of the playoffs and into a conference championship game for the first time since the 1920s. That's their goal.
Can I pose this question to that goal?
Yeah.
And I keep going back to this. Maybe you guys disagree. I think it's San Francisco, Philly. After that, every other team you're kind of like, yeah, okay. But, and I'll throw Dallas in that conversation.
Will you?
Has there ever been an easier time to move through the NFC as far as the playoffs go?
No.
Yeah, there's an opportunity. Hell yeah.
Like of the period of time since the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl, like, is this quite possibly the easiest time it's been for them to make a run and get past the second round of the playoffs?
Yes.
Yes.
And you've had home games through the course of this Dak Prescott run, and still
kicked in some of those.
Yes. And, by the way, they got bludgeoned by Green Bay last year in the playoffs, and still come up short. like there's been a lot of situations for them. Philly was melting down last year.
Can I pose a question?
Yeah.
What would anything that the Dallas Cowboys did this offseason lead you to believe that they are going to be a better team than what they were last year?
Nothing. I think they've gotten worse.
That's a simple. What do you think?
If they maybe would have made more of an effort to get a running back, maybe they feel like Zeke's good. They're good with him coming back, but I would have thought via the draft or maybe Derrick Henry or they would have had someone. And to sign back Zeke, it kind of feels like they just don't want to spend any money. They haven't extended CeeDee Lamb, haven't done that deal. That's only getting more expensive. Haven't extended out Dak Prescott, which is part of the issue why you couldn't probably sign some other players too to create more cap space. I don't know where this team is at. I'm not sure if they are going, and you can't say all in, but are just trying to make it through this year to see what happens with Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott and all these pieces. And if things don't go well, just say, okay, we're going to reset. Because it feels like that's the direction they're going. Everything's going to get blown up after the season if they don't meet expectations.
Now, Stephen Jones, he did talk with Adam Shine about why Derrick Henry wasn't a target for the Dallas Cowboys, because Derrick Henry kind of threw out there that
because they don't want to win.
Well, he would have been. They're not in the business of winning. But Derrick Henry kind of threw out, in the last month or so that, I would have been interested in Dallas. I just didn't hear from him. And here was the reasoning why that didn't happen, according to Stephen Jones.
Well, first of all, nothing but respect for Derrick Henry. I mean, he's one of the top backs in this league. He's had one of the great careers in this league. I wish him nothing but the best with the Ravens. I'm sure a great place for him. Our situation is, no one ever wants to say it, but it's salary cap. And we just didn't, have the money to allocate to that position, in terms of where we were from a cap standpoint, knowing what we're looking at with Dak and certainly Micah and CeeDee Lamb. We just didn't have those type of resources to allocate that position, or we probably would have already had it filled with Tony Pollard. We hated to lose Tony Pollard. We had to lose Zeke the year before from a cap standpoint, and we just didn't have the dollars to allocate to the running back position, and certainly looking to do it in a more efficient way in terms of how it complements the rest of our offensive roster.
I mean, am I missing something? Isn't that part of the reason?
We couldn't afford to get a better back, so we just went ahead and brought Zeke back.
CBS is too expensive.
We ain't going to hire
nobody. Let's go to the
Dollar
Tree.
Hey, while we at it, we ain't going to hire nobody else good either. We got to pay Dak, Micah, and CD.
But this could have been avoided, right? Like, if they got the deal done with Dak or CeeDee Lamb, they could have reworked the salary cap, right?
Yeah, they have a little less than $4.5 million in salary cap space now. Had they gotten deals done with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, both, yes, they could have created enough cap space to absorb the blockbuster deal that Derrick Henry signed, which is a 2-year, $16 million contract, $9 million of which was guaranteed. Like, you're telling me you couldn't make a few subtle adjustments to your salary cap with your roster? I'm not even saying it has to be Dak and CD. Like, those are just two of the players we've talked about. There's probably other players that you could have figured out a way of, manipulating your cap to find room to bring in Derrick Henry on what is basically a 1-year deal that he signed with the Baltimore Ravens. And you're not telling me you couldn't have figured that out? I just – and the other thing is when you look at Derrick Henry, what he gets paid to go to Baltimore, and I know everyone hates – I probably keep bringing this up, but when you play in the state of Texas, you're saving on the state income tax. You're also wearing that star on your helmet. There's maybe some marketing deals, other things they can bring to you that aren't a part of the salary cap conversation. So maybe it would have been more attractive for Derrick Henry to be a Dallas Cowboys running back. But, again, apparently they didn't have the money.
He made the right decision. He made the right call on that one. Because Dallas, if this is what you call all in, I would love to see what all out looks like.
Oh, it'd be great.
Wow.
It'd be great.
Yeah, what do you think all out would be? They just move to like Tijuana or something like that? You think that's the move?
I mean, they threatened to bring
the
the Kansas City Chiefs to Dallas, right?
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, shouldn't you take a hint on that one? Be a tad bit offended?
Because Stephen Jones also, they keep saying Dak Prescott's our guy. We want to get a deal done. We believe we can win a Super Bowl.
This has got to be it for him. If he doesn't, if they don't do more this year, you got to believe this is it for him in Dallas.
Yeah.
By the way, Dallas has paid out or will pay out the fewest amount of cash of any team in the NFL this offseason by a pretty wide margin, by like $11 million. The next closest team is Green Bay. But that's for the 2024 cash totals for their team. They are $11 million below the next team, which is Green Bay, but dead last in the NFL. And that's # all in. Cool.
So the only thing I wonder about, and this hasn't gotten a lot of publicity or a lot of run, but Dak Prescott had a sexual assault claim against him that was dismissed. They're not going to pursue, charges according to the district attorney, and that just got cleared up a few days ago. Do you think possibly Dallas was waiting to see how that turned out before they pursued this long-term deal with Dak Prescott, and maybe that's what the delay is? Because outside of that, if they don't get something done this offseason with him, Mike McCarthy, like this era of Cowboys football is coming to a close if they don't win a Super Bowl this upcoming year. And to LaVar's point, I don't know how you look at this team and say, I feel better about their chances this year as opposed to last year.
There's nothing that would lead you down the lane of thinking that, yep, this is the year that Dallas gets it. Like, there's nothing about Dallas that screams, this is their year.
Here's the only thing, too, about what you brought up, Jonas. That alleged, case was sexual assault case was back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he signed an extension since then. So with the question you asked, wouldn't you think that it would have factored in then when they gave him a 4-year, $160 million contract with?
But didn't this get brought up, and wasn't this just filed not that long ago, within the last few months?
What I'm saying is it was probably known at that point if there was something that was maybe going on.
Yeah, so basically they're just not all in is really what we've determined. Like this, man. And the Dak Prescott's going to be fine. I'm telling you, there will be an opportunity for him elsewhere. If he just plays good football like he's done, there's going to be an opportunity. I just wonder if it's going to be in Dallas after this year. Like, he's going to get paid regardless.
The thing that he's got working in his favor is next year's draft class of quarterbacks. We just came off a class that's 6 taken in the first round. You're probably looking at 3 being taken next year. The names that you'll continue to keep hearing are Carson Beck out of Georgia. Shedeur Sanders has been getting a lot of love too. And then there's kind of that wild card for 3. Connor Wigman at Texas A&M could be a name you hear. Drew Aller, obviously at Penn State. There's other quarterbacks you could throw into the conversation if they have some big years. But it's not viewed as a great quarterback draft class. And there's no one individual that's really running away with it, which lends you to think there'll be a destination for him if he's a free agent. But also, it's maybe a reason why a lot of the teams this year went after quarterbacks, because they're thinking, we really like this guy. We don't know how good we feel about the pipeline of quarterbacks that are coming in the next year, maybe even 2 years.